If you're a fantasy writer and you have troubles coming up with unique sounding names, this video is for you. Although I don't have a lot of publications in the whole high fantasy world that I've created, I have been writing in this world for a long time. And one thing that has helped me is the fact that I have played a lot of video games. And I'm not just talking about, Tetris and all those simpleton type games that we used to play when we were kids. I'm talking about fantasy role-playing games, massive multiplayer universes. It really has been a lot of fun. But in playing these games, you do have to create character names all the time. And yeah, some people come up with some pretty crazy names. Some are pretty fun, entertaining as you pass by other characters in the world. But the reality is when you're writing a high fantasy book, you do need to come up with something unique that sounds like a high fantasy name, but also is believable. So today I have 3 tricks for you to try out to help you come up with a fantasy name when you are stuck. The first and probably the simplest way is to take a regular Earth name, a human name, and add or swap out a letter. For example, if we started with Kevin, we could add an A and swap out the I for a Y to come up with Kevin, or add an L and swap out the I for a Y, and that gives us Kaylin or Kellen. For a girl, an example would be Carla. We could add an E, we could add an N and make it Carolyn. Or we could swap out the R for an I and add an S on the end for Kalis. This is probably one of the simplest methods to create a fantasy name. So again, find a human name that might suit that character, and then think about the fact that, hey, this is a fantasy world, we want it to be a little bit different so it doesn't sound so human, and play around with the letters, add something, swap something out, and see what you can come up with. Method 2 is do the same thing, only take 2 human names and try to find a way to cut and paste the sounds together. So for example, Adam and Carl could be Carlum or Adarl. Another example of 2 human male names being put together could be Kyle and Kevin to make Kylan or Kevil. For a female name, we could use Bethany and Sarah to make Betha or Sabbath. Now I know those sound a little bit funky. These are just examples of how to merge a couple of names together. And the third would be to merge 2 nouns together. Now these could be names of objects, items, maybe an animal or a bird. You could try merging them together, adding another letter, swapping letters around. Just play with the names until you come up with something that makes sense to you. So for example, Talon and Raven, Raylon or Tavin. Then we have Ocean and Phoenix. They could be Oshex or Fane. So it's kind of fun, actually. You could probably sit down and spend a crap ton of time coming up with some human names or nouns that you really like for whatever reason. Or maybe it's as deep as, the character itself. So say this character really enjoys the water and the ocean. So that would be where Ocean and Phoenix would come together to become Oshix or Fane. Maybe it could mean something to you. Like maybe there's a certain flower that you really like, and maybe there's a certain animal that is your favorite, and you can find a way to put those words together to make a fantasy name. So I hope this helps you in some way. I know it's really fun to do. I really enjoy creating fantasy characters, both in the gaming world and in my stories. So I hope that helps you. If it does, hey, why don't you share some of the funky names you come up with down below in the comments, and maybe share ones that you're not planning to actually use so that nobody else steals them from you. That's it for today. Have a great rest of your day, afternoon, evening, night, or whatever, and happy name generating.